Fighters have explained just how scary Khamzat Chimaev really is. When Khamzat Chimaev entered the UFC and destroyed 3 opponents in 60 odd days, Dana White went as far as saying this:
"I've been in this game my whole life. I've never seen anything like him."
Unfortunately, severe sickness slowed the hype train down this year, yet majority of fans and pros still think Khamzat Chimaev is one of the scariest dudes on the planet, and his next opponent has nothing but good things to say about him.
I understand he's a hard fighter. He likes to grapple a lot. He uses his reach and range to good effectiveness. He's got knockout power. But honestly, you know, he likes to play the villain against these guys, against his opponents. But I'm looking for an honor. He's an honorable fighter. Like, we're going to get in there and we're going to have an honest fight. We're both going to leave it there. He's not a quitter. I'm not a quitter. Yeah. So I look forward to really, you know, making history in Saudi Arabia.
Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev will battle in a potential title eliminator at UFC Saudi Arabia in June. If Chimaev wins, he'll be the next in line to fight for the middleweight belt. But how did he get here? The fight was 3 years in the making, and when Khamzat first burst onto the scene, Whittaker jokingly asked the Chechen for mercy.
I like his attitude. he's a scary dude. You know what I mean? Like, I like it. He is next level crazy. I hope he keeps like trying to tear up the division and not target me. Please don't target me, Hazmat.
Chimaev had his first UFC fight in 2020 and finished his first 3 opponents all within just 62 days. He most notably knocked out veteran Gerald Meerschaert in just 17 seconds.
He's different. He wants to fight again, so it's fun and I like it. And I think when you're a fight fan, a guy like this is the type of guy that you love to watch and follow and hate, you know, and whatever it might be. This guy is one of the most special fighters I've ever seen, if not the most special guy that I've ever come across.
Not only that, Dana was also super impressed with how Chimaev told him backstage that he wasn't just a wrestler, and then went out there and proved it.
He kept telling me leading up to this fight, "You think I'm a wrestler. You think I'm a wrestler. Wait till you see my hands." Holy shit. He wasn't lying.
Unfortunately, Chimaev spent the next year after his win over Meerschaert on the sidelines, recovering from a severe case of COVID that had him announce his retirement at one point. Luckily, he took a U-turn, came back in late 2021, and absolutely manhandled Jingliang and submitted him in round 1 to bring the hype train back on track.
He is a very, very high-level fighter, but if you want to see if he is he's good as a champion, I think he still needs maybe 1 or 2 more fights to prove he's the championship level. And he's a very smarter fighter actually, and he has very good game plan. So that is what we need to learn from him.
It was definitely a high-level performance.
I do believe he's the most scary contender we've had for a while, because there are just so many unknowns. Like, it's like Khamzat. There's just so many questions, and every time he comes in, he dominates, he's gone.
Even Joe Rogan instantly became a fan of this wrecking ball of fury.
Do you know who Khamzat Chimaev is?
Yes.
That's another guy that everybody's like, I can't wait to see that motherfucker fight again. Can he fight again tomorrow?
I want to see him fight too.
Can he fight tomorrow?
I want to see him too. I don't know why, but I do want to see him.
He's got it. Whatever that thing is, he's got it.
It's that interest to want to learn more about him, because he's entertainment.
Yeah. When he's like, I killed them all after his last fight, he goes, bring them to me. I killed them all. I'm like, whoa.
I'm like, this motherfucker sound like he's in Gladiators.
Dude, he's real.
Yeah.
That's really him too.
After securing 3 wins in the UFC in a little over 2 months, Chimaev started being labeled as Khabib Nurmagomedov's evil twin, and when the man himself was asked about the Chechen counterpart, Khabib said that Chimaev was so good that he deserved fights against ranked contenders, even with just 3 UFC bouts under his belt. Khabib said, "I don't know what the UFC is going to do with him about his next opponent, but in my opinion, I think he deserves a top 10 or top 15 opponent. In my opinion, it's in the top 10. He deserves a fight with someone very tough opponent, like 5 rounds. Then after this one, he deserves a contender fight. This is my opinion." Now, what does Khabib's coach Javier Mendez think about Khamzat?
He's my guy. I like that guy. He's a killer.
Chimaev's hype train continued to blitz forward without worry until he met Gilbert Burns, who gave the Chechen a run for his money. The Brazilian was bruised and battered, and though Chimaev won, many said that he was exposed. However, those with a deeper eye on things uncovered a new and never seen before trait in Chimaev: his mental and physical toughness.
I mean, any that said that doesn't think the kid's human. He's a human being. And he just beat the #2 welterweight in the world in the UFC with a couple of fights in the UFC. If you don't think he's the real deal, you're out of your mind.
Even Burns rates Chimaev very highly, as he recently said that the Chechen and Kamaru Usman were two of the toughest guys he fought.
Kamaru was #1 pound for pound when I fought him. Khamzat was the guy that everyone was afraid. Now a lot of guys see a lot, oh, he guessed here, this happened, that happened. But when I fought these guys, they were monsters and no one wanted to face both guys. I think those were the best guys that I fought.
Michael Bisping became an even bigger fan of Chimaev after the fight because of the Chechen fighter's toughness.
Now, I'm an even bigger fan of Khamzat. Because it's all well and good, I talk about this a lot, right? If you're a fighter, you've got to be able to be a good hammer and a good nail. Some people can go out there and they can bust people up. They can smack them, they can wrestle them, they can choke them out, all the rest of it, okay? They can dominate. But then, when they meet somebody that can give it back, all of a sudden they can give it, but they can't take it, right? As a fighter, to be truly one of the greats, you've got to be able to get your ass kicked in a round, then go back to your corner. Whoa, geez Louise, that was a tough one, wasn't it? Shake it off, take some words of advice from your cornerman, right? Wipe off the blood, and then go out for the next round. And Khamzat showed that he could do that.
Despite criticism from a few fans, Chimaev put himself in a strong position to fight for the UFC welterweight title, and the GOAT of the division said that he had all the skills in the world to be the 170-pound champion.
Khamzat is very good, he's got all the skills. He's very good, and he showcased incredible durability and great strength, mental strength in his last fight when he fought Gilbert Burns, because he was pushed to the limit. And that's when you recognize a true warrior, a true champion, than a contender. When he faced those moments of adversity and some collapse, but some push through and succeed. And he proved it in his last fight. He's very, very good.
A few months after beating Burns, Chimaev got the opportunity to headline UFC 279 against Nate Diaz in a welterweight title eliminator, but he shot himself in the foot by missing weight. As a result, he was demoted to the co-main event against Kevin Holland, who was ripped into shreds by the Wolf and then choked out. It was a statement victory, and one that scared the crap out of welterweight contender Daniel Rodriguez.
I mean, that was amazing. That was a display of pure dominance, and I feel like he was going to do the same to Nate Diaz, and you know, it's left up in the air whether or not he's still going to compete in the welterweight division, but yeah, he's a scary dude.
Chimaev left welterweight after the weight debacle and settled at middleweight, where he was initially booked to fight Paulo Costa at UFC 294, but after the Brazilian pulled out, Kamaru Usman jumped in on short notice and gave Chimaev a really tough fight, although the Nigerian still lost by a close decision. Usman gave props to Chimaev ahead of their fight.
I think he's as advertised. He's very tough, you know, very strong, he's big. He can strike, he can wrestle, he can grapple, he can do it all. So can I. You know, so I think he's as advertised, but you don't know until you know. You know, ignorance is bliss sometimes, and I give him all the props in the world. He's done everything he needed to do with what he's been presented with.
And then after they were done throwing hands, Usman was not only taken down, but controlled for a significant amount of time for the first time in his career.
He's as advertised, he's big, he's strong. And, you know, I'm a championship fighter. That kid's as advertised. He's tough, and I give him all the props.
The next time Chimaev steps inside the cage, he will be locking horns with an actual middleweight, and that too, one of the best in the world. If Chimaev beats Whittaker, he will likely face the winner of Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya, and if Adesanya wins the belt again, that's bad news for him, according to Henry Cejudo.
I believe Chimaev's just a whole nother animal, dude. His wrestling, his confidence. I mean, this dude, from what I've heard from a lot of people, this dude literally trains like nobody has ever seen before. And when you're a wrestler and you're like that and he's driven, man, I don't think there's nobody on the planet. I can see him easily beating Israel Adesanya.
Will Chimaev do what Henry Cejudo says he will? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel and check out another one here.